What's up, Rubits? Little Big Robots here. Before I get started, if you could do me a favor, press that little subscribe button down there or wherever it's at currently on the page. Trying to get to, 8 to 10,000 by the end of 2024. I think I can do it. If I got to 10,000 subs, I might actually get a little money from Google. Now I get about $50 every 2 months, or some ridiculous amount, for all the work I do. But anyway, but if you subscribe, that spreads the word. And this channel is all about little versions of big robots. For example, something like this bulk arm from Hexagear. This is my jam. Small, not giant, not statues, but little versions of big robots that you can play with and have fun with and act like a kid again with. Anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about something that is really, really special to me. And it kind of gives you, I should say, a glimpse into my history as a human being. Excuse the red stripe here. We're practicing for a puzzle contest, as in a jigsaw puzzle contest, and we had to measure out how much room we had on the table. But anyway, these are my actual books I've had since I was a child. Around, I would say, I had toys, actual toys, G.I. Joes, all that kind of stuff, until maybe 9 or 10 or 11, 12. And then I really discovered girls. I remember when I discovered girls specifically, I was like, whoa, girls are awesome. And I took all my toys and I broke them apart. You wouldn't believe it. I took my G.I. Joe well, I put it in a puddle with my friend and shot it with a 22. Yes, we're from Oklahoma, so we had guns everywhere. I cut apart my original, I can't remember what Star Wars character it was, and I buried him in like a carbonite material. I just tore them all apart, regrettably. But these I kept. Luckily, we did not throw these away or burn them or whatever. My mom kept them for me. Such a great series of books that'll give you an idea of why I like what I like. These are from 87 and beyond. So this is the first one. Actually, this is from 86. At least that's the published date. Doesn't guarantee when I got them, but it'll give you an idea. So I was 13 or so. Oops, sorry, there we go. So well into girls, but still way into little versions of robots. Battletech we played a little bit, but honestly, this is before the internet. So you would get these books to read and look at and stuff. Even if you weren't into the game, sometimes you'd buy this stuff. It's kind of hard to explain. But they're really, really cool. And as you look through them, you realize these are drawings. These weren't made on a person on a computer. These were made by a architectural person or something. I'm not totally sure. Doesn't that look familiar? Looks like I've seen that guy a million times. And you would just read it and you'd say, oh, that's my favorite one. And they have lore over here. You have light mechs and everything. And to give you an idea, I found this in here earlier. This is from my original first edition, whatever you call it, of the Space Marine game. It was a box set. I bought it in a hobby store in Oklahoma City in a mall. I can't remember what mall it was called. I remember this Sister Sin here, which is a Sister of Battle or whatever you call it. I remember thinking, oh, she's so cool, and thinking, is she a Marine? And, blah, 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 and all that stuff like that. And so I would get this book, and we definitely played Space Marines a lot, but I would just read stuff and just enjoy the silly lore of it. And that's what I would do with these, although we did not really play Battletech that much. We played D&D a little bit, but I still have original 1980s. In fact, I might have them right here. I don't think so. But I have 1980s original books. I have, if you ever remember this as a kid, I had this as a kid. This one is not my original copy. I lost mine, or lost most of it. I found this in a thrift store for a few bucks. So I was like, I'm definitely grabbing that. That has the original game and rules in. I think it's got other stuff as well, like D&D stuff. This is our original game as well, if you remember this. Paranoia. This is my brother's original game from 84. Now, that's when the published date is on it. Does not mean that's when we got it. And I don't think... Look at this. I forgot we had the Judge Dredd stuff, too. Wow. So this is kind of giving you an example of what made me the way I am now, which is really cool. I need to really dig through this stuff again. We've moved several times. I've just moved to California, so it's very it's been a lot So we had to even give away a lot of my old stuff as well. You know, went to a good home, but I definitely kept the stuff from my youth that really mattered. So this will give you an idea. It's got these cool drawings and stuff. You get into the heavy mechs, it'll give you a size comparison with a human. Then you switch to some more pencil kind of style, or those are probably markers, probably, right? Aircraft, so that's from 86. Then you get into this guy. This is the manual. I don't even remember, but I remember this. The Atlas specifically was one of my favorites. This guy right here shaped my opinions on what I like in little big versions of robots for my entire life. My mic will not stay. So this is the manual, but again, I would just sit and read stuff, you know, look at the pictures, you know. This is really cool. There's some funny people in this too. Look at this woman here. It looks like your 1983, you know, vice principal. That's probably some dude's wife. That just volunteered to dress up so he could draw her in like a... Because you remember, nowadays, people have a tablet and they can, you know, put a picture in the tab. I love this. You can see the size comparison there of the drop ships. Isn't that awesome? Now you have a tablet, you can put a picture in it and just make it into whatever you want. And with AI now, you can just tell it. It's really kind of weird, but okay. So you have all the rules and stuff. Again, I would just, I don't want to crack it. I would just look at the art. Look at that. That's a fantastic piece. And they would sign it. Look at that. So you can track down who did what. It's just a really, really cool book there. Getting more into vehicles and personal equipment. This one was really fun because I have always been a sucker for tanks. You're about to see some more about that in a minute. And this gave you, and we never even had the vehicles. The hovercraft stuff, which is really, really cool. I love this APC, just like in Aliens. You know, so some of the designs aren't the most original. But again, what's interesting about this is a light tank, 25 tons. They get into the heavy tanks, I believe. Let's see, where is this? This 80 tons. And everybody kind of is in agreement that these days, you know, forget mechs and stuff. No, you know, countries aren't going to make mechs. What they're going to make is more massive or more effective tanks. And if I remember correctly, tanks in BattleTech were pretty effective. See, some of that art is really cool. That's another thing you get with a lot of these old books is you get, you know, hand-drawn art that, you know, it's just somebody, some guy took his wife and his brother and asked him to pose. Took a photo, a little exoskeleton there. This again, like Aliens. This was what, 87. So Aliens would have came out by now, right? Was Aliens 86 or something? See, they took some guy's dad. Hey, Dad, would you pose for me so I can? You know, it's these things are still so great, and it's giving you the rules for personal equipment. Isn't that awesome? So they still make, of course they still make stuff like this. Rule books are still a very common thing. The Mad Cat here is fantastic. These frog guys, when I was a kid, I had such a weird connection, or like, I don't know, I just remember these frog guys so much because they were little people, and, you know, they were normal sized people, and they're actually probably pretty tall people, but compared to a mech, they were small. So you get the models and you get them like this, and later when I got into epic scale, those guys really, really did it for me. They're really cool, but I like how he has his head blown off here, like it's next to that Mad Cat. This was 1990, I think. Yeah, 1990 published date. I don't know when we got it. I would have been quite a bit older by then. You see what I mean? Like, look at the weird hand thing there. Like, I believe that is an actual design, though. So it's giving you more rules and stuff. So I've got plenty of stuff. If I ever want to play again, I could. But honestly, I have so many things to do lately. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's the color section. Look at that. They give you a color section. What's really funny is if you look at the paint jobs compared nowadays, they're just kind of garbage. Nowadays, they're so intense. You know, aerospace fighters. Look at that. That's fantastic. That would be really, really fun to do a toy of. See, I mean, imagine you're 12 or 13 or 14. You're looking at this, you're like, whoa, so cool. I think that right here is a model. The Vulture is really, really famous one. So again, and I remember this shot right here so well. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And then you're getting some reference guide here. This guy right here was a great big heavy guy. What was funny about this is that's obviously the ship that drops off the APC in Aliens, right? You can see the actual I mean, it looks almost exactly the same, but there's such a weight and silliness to that character, though, how short the legs are. But I loved that one, and I think I had a toy of it. I can't remember for sure. So, I would just read this stuff, and I guess it's, a big explanation of, or big kind of, it's obvious where my love for, mecha really came from, was because I grew up just looking at this stuff. And seeing movies like Robot Jocks later on, all that fun stuff. I mean, it's not an uncommon tale, is it? Like a lot of us out there, guys, girls, and others, grew up in the 80s and 90s, but especially the 80s when this stuff was really new, or was really kind of getting out there. And you'd see this stuff and you'd just be like, what in the hell is that? Really, really funny designs. I love that one. That's a classic. And then some of the drawings, though, I remember this about this specific book. If I can put this straight on, some of the drawings see how they're kind of askew? Like if you're an artist, I'm an artist. I draw and paint. One of the biggest mistakes you can do is draw at an angle, because then you tilt it up sometimes, and then you'll see how it looks a little bit askew. So it's a little bit weird, but still love those drawings, stuff like that. It's just a cool. Look at that. That's from the animation. An animation. I don't know which one. Look at that. So you just get a big. That's the one of the best Warhammer. Look at that guy. Fantastic stuff. So again, I don't know all this stuff, what it all means anymore. I'll have to look that up. And then later, let's fast forward a few years, several years until now. And then I love stuff like this. I'm a big fan of tanks. I got this off of Amazon for like $12 or some cheap stuff. This is written by Osprey. I think they do these little visible guides. Cutout stuff to me is so awesome. I'm kind of obsessed with toys, and model kits have interiors, but they're very hard to find. That might be why I get into mecha and stuff like this, where you can actually lift the how do you do this one? I forget. You actually lift the parts back and you can actually see inside there. And the interior to me is really, really important. It's really, really fun to have. And so when I've always loved Sherman tanks, like a lot of young people in America who grew up on with a father who loved World War II stuff. But I love this because you could see inside it, and then the inside there's some photos, but then they start showing you, some of the paint qualities or paint schemes or whatever you call it. And so if you're doing a model kit, but then you get this big shot, right? Fantastic, except for as you open it, there's this seam right in the middle of this fantastic cutaway drawing. So I might see if I can buy that somewhere, because you can see all the, where they would sit, the, stowage, the ammo, who's the driver. But I just couldn't believe they put that right. Like who made that call? I'm furious at them. Great book for that kind of stuff. And then now we get into this kind of stuff, which you can find this. Go to Half Price Books. I think I found this for a few bucks. This is Abakan. I can't remember. I think this person's Japanese. I can't remember. But this is a great book if you find it for cheap. Even if not, if you don't find it for, this might be Chinese. I can't remember. Kao Yokohama? I can't remember. Anyway, I'll have to look it up. And this person has made his own lore, which is something that we all like, has drawn and done some drawings, and then gets into this mecha that his designs. Now, to be fair, this is not my favorite style of mecha. This sort of, it's hard to explain. It's kind of hexagear looking. I really like stuff that's a bit more simple looking. Like a bot that you would use just for construction or something. That's my favorite stuff. But of course, these are still fantastic. And I'm not into the big giant weapons. It just doesn't feel to me at all. What's the point? You would just make a tank. I don't know. It just doesn't really give me a buzz. But you can see how he does all the stuff custom. I mean, it's one of the coolest books I own for mecha stuff. And for inspirations for painting, for chipping. See how much chipping he does? It's just a really, really, really cool book. I like this. It has a sense of scale there. It gives you a picture with the house. So I'm still kind of going down this same road that I did when I was a kid. I'll get books about stuff that I don't even follow. or a game or something like that, and just because I want to sit there and look at it. Yeah, I can look up a ton of stuff online and whatever, but this is cool to have like a physical thing that I'll be able to have forever. Look at the chipping detail on that. Really, really well done. So definitely recommend this book if you ever see it. If you want to know what it is, just look up Abakan 2288 Calamity's War. Yeah, I think the artist's name is Calamity. Can't remember where he's from. Luca. Sci-fi television. Can't remember where he's from. Anyway, fantastic. So I just thought I'd let you take a glimpse into what made me obsessed and just loving mecha. Not always military mecha. I often like stuff that is more utilitarian, or like a construction bot. But look at that. That picture right there was probably, when I was a kid, was probably like one of the number one things that made me go, hey man, I love those giant robots. So cool. It's just, it looks big and dumb and evil, and I just love this one. But anyway, thought you all might want to take a look at that and enjoy and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. How about that? Okay, talk to you later. Bye bye.